name's Danny Diliberto, founder of Ladles of Love. It was founded back in 2014. Communities we work with are all over the peninsula, and we're working with 138 beneficiaries now. We've grown exponentially. We've been able to do that because of all the kindness that we have experienced from individuals and corporates such as Interbet, who just want to be part of the change.
Okay, back to the studio for the 7th race, which is the Follow in the Box Seat podcast. Merit rated 69 handicap for fillies and mares over 1,400 metres. And there is a change. The race runs at 4:10. There is a change. Number 5, A Little Bit Naughty, gets the services of Craig Zaki. And I believe, if what I heard was correct, young Jason Gates is on the sidelines. He's had a little injury, and we wish him very well for a speedy recovery. So let's talk about the 7th race, D's. Talking about In the Box Seat podcast, you must watch this week's podcast. I've done it already while Andrew Harrison is still on leave. He'll be back next week. We did a Zoom interview with young James Crawford. Yes. Unbelievable. Such an inspiration.
Is there a more confident man that you will talk to than James Crawford would? Because I deal with him because of my involvement with Dylan and the horses that he has with Brett, and of course the ones that are stable in Karte. I mean, James is not short of confidence. He is a confident young man.
But some people, members of the public, will express that as arrogance.
No, it's not.
And it's not. It's that lovely confidence.
Yes.
And you're quite right. He is the confident, speaks so well, impeccably mannered. It was a great interview, and I urge everybody to watch that because it was really, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And he's doing well. I mean, the results are there. You know, he's being guided by his dad. He basically runs that entire ship. He's the captain of that ship, but he's being guided by his dad. And you know, his dad is his mentor, obviously. And you brought up in a family that you have grown into a business that your dad loves, trying to follow in his footsteps. But you are making your own path as well.
And we need him, Dees. I mean, all the youngsters, and I mentioned in the podcast, and we're talking a little bit about this, but we'll talk about our selections quickly, is that Sean Terry's son, yes. I think his name is Daniel. I'm terrible with names. It's Daniel. Yeah. These are the youngsters. This is the future. Yes. We need them, and we need to embrace them, which is so exciting.
No. I mean, that's how you have to grow the game. Yep. You grow the game, and if you have to think back on your involvement in the game, and I have to think back on my involvement in the game, it's because I was introduced to it at a very young age by my dad, or whoever introduced you to the game. And I'm sure if you are watching this race day preview of Hollywoodbets Greyville, you will know exactly how you were introduced into the game. It just you didn't just stumble on it. It's somebody out there that brought you to the races, or took you to a tote, or maybe took you to Summerfeld or wherever, and that's how you fell in love with the game. It's always connecting the dots. And I agree with Warren. Young blood is what's lacking in order to grow the industry from bottom to top. But coming back to race number 7, which is over 1,400 meters, if I had to narrow this down, Warren, I'm going to go 3 runners here.
Talk to me. 5. I've got 4, so
I'm happy with 4 because I'm not saying the more the better. If 4 is on the mark, because it's on the mark for half the field. The numbers are 5, 6, and 9. Those are my numbers. 5, 6, and 9. A little bit naughty. Nice pickup ride for Craig Zaki, a horse that I know will give off her best. Miss Layla, I thought it was a tremendous ride. It was the ride that won this horse the race last time out, because prior to that, she just leaves too much to do. Back of the field running on. Excuses. Last time out, although she was, slightly slow away, Muzi found himself in such a position that I knew, once he was positioned there, I knew that whoever took the 12-1 was collecting the cash, which they did. Great ride, Muzieni. Kunabi, Wendy Whitehead's runner. Richard Fourie. He's won on the horse. He's run second on the horse his last 2 starts. Doesn't surprise me that when he decided to go for a ride in this race, this looked to be the obvious choice for him. So 5, 6, and 9 are going to be my numbers in the pick 6. And the one more runner that you're going to include is obviously going to be at a price, because the runners I've chosen are 3-1, 5-1, 5-2. So your runner is going to help us drop tickets if it does arrive.
And D's, you're quite right. It's not number 7, Natalia, but we must mention that Natalia has dropped to a 52, gets 4 kgs off, and will come into the race racing off 48 kilograms, but has had 9 starts on the poly for no win, but 2 places.
Are you going to tell us and you're going to give us some confidence with Kitten's Adventure?
Well, that's the one I want to include, D's. That's the one I want to include. 2 reasons. One, because maybe I'm a little biased for obvious reasons. And secondly, when she competes in these 69 handicaps and 66 and 68 handicaps, her form is very good. Her last couple of starts have been in a 76, 73, 76. And I know there's not a huge difference between the two.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
But the fact of the matter is that she seems to be more effective in this lower class.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I've actually had chats to a lot of owners recently about this type of thing, where personally I feel when you have a rating, I'd rather carry the top weight against weaker horses and give them weight than rather take on stronger horses with a lower weight. I mean, it is a hit and miss thing, but I'm just chatting to a few owners that we're talking about placing their horses and just trying to pick my brain on how I see things. For me, if I got a handicapper and a horse that I think is going to try and win me a few races, not going to Hollywood and going to the divisions, I'd rather it be at the top of the weights and giving weaker horses weight than being at the bottom.
With you more.
And then in you saying Kitten said that's when you see her at her best, when she's carrying the weight.
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And that's why I'd like us to include her. And our numbers will be 4, 5, 6, 9. 4 Kitten's Adventure, 5 A Little Bit Naughty, 6 Miss Lila, and 9 Quinabi. That's race 7. And we'll come back to you for the lucky last.
Hi, I'm Trevor, the CEO of the same foundation. The donation we received from Interbet helped us in procuring vital, life-saving medical equipment and PPE for Tygerberg and Groote hospitals in the Western Cape. This was while the Western Cape was the epicenter of the pandemic. If you would like to get in touch or assist us in these projects, you can get hold of us on our website, which is www.samefoundation.org.za, Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn.